Hey everyone! So in today's video, I'm going to be doing two things that I did not do last year to my dahlias that I am going to do this year. And those two things are staking them and pinching some of them. So last year I had two different dahlia plants. One of the ones I have this year is from last year, and then I added 5 additional grow bags of dahlias. So I have 6 dahlias total. Now last year I did not stake the 2 that I had, and then once they got kind of to their full height, we had some windy days. I saw that there were going to be some issues with them potentially breaking, so I basically took some twine and wrapped it around itself and then tied it to this raised bed right here. So this year I've done something different, which I'll go into more detail in just a little bit, but at least now I am going through with a plan of actually staking them in advance before it becomes too late, which is a level of responsibility I usually don't go to in the garden. So the other thing is pinching my dahlias. Now last year, did not pinch the 2 I had. I had a ton of blooms. I'll see if I can get a photo or video of them from last year so you can see how many. But I do know that when I planted the tubers that I had last year, there were multiple tubers attached to one stalk. So I think that makes sense that it was putting out a bunch of different branches. I had a lot of different blooms. The ones I planted this year, some of them had multiple tubers. I think a few only had 1 or 2. So I am gonna do a test of pinching 2 that are behind me right here, and then I have duplicates of those variety on the other side, which I'm not going to pinch, and I'm going to see what the difference is. So I thought that would be a fun test. So let me go ahead and I'll show you all of the dahlias that I have, and then I'll talk you through staking and pinching them. So these are the 2 dahlias on the left side of this lower raised bed that I am going to pinch. These have a little bit more room over here than the 4 that I have on this end. So this is the dahlia that I overwintered last year. These right here are the 3 new ones. So I had originally started 6 new grow bags, but the other grow bag of this variety did not grow, never sprouted. So I did have to throw that away. Exciting that you can see some dahlia flowers are just starting to bloom here. So the varieties I have, Penhill watermelon, and then none of them I remember the name, so let's go ahead and see if I did in fact label them. This one is Edison, and I have them in the same order on the other side. So an Edison here, an Edison there. If that one's the Edison, I'm pretty sure this is Otto's Thrill. So Otto's Thrill here, Otto's Thrill down there. These 2 are getting pinched. These 2 are not. And then this one is also a lone variety. Found the tag buried in there. This one is Emery Paul. So I have 1 Emery Paul and 1 Penhill watermelon. Now, what I've already done is I've used poles from my greenhouse that broke in the wind, and that's what I'm planning to use to stake them with. And you can see here, they're in there and pretty sturdy. I did stick those in a few weeks ago now. You want to get them in place as early as possible. That way you're not breaking the roots or potentially damaging a tuber. So I did go very slowly when I pushed it into the container, since I'd already planted the tubers. I didn't want to damage anything that was already in the container. So now what I need to do is actually attach each of the dahlias to the pole. And this one, again, the one from last year, already did. If you can see that down there, I just basically tied it with some twine and then attached the twine to the pole. And I did have multiple stems coming up here. Over on this one, looks like I just have 1 giant stem, so I'll stake that one back. I have 2 in this one, and let's see how many here. I think just 1 or 2 in this one as well. So let's go ahead and get these tied into place. I hope this is going to be easy enough to see, but basically I'm just going to take this twine, put it around the main stalk, very gently bend it toward the pole and tie it in place. I am also trying to avoid any of the smaller branches when I'm tying this to the pole. And here we go. So now that one is much more secure and in place. Now, as these grow, I mean, there is a height limit because the pole ends at some point, but as this gets taller, I'll also tie it again near the top of the pole just to make it a bit more sturdy. So now I'm gonna go ahead and stake these, then we'll move on to pinching the dahlias on the other side. So here is what this one looks like. Now this one had 2 stalks, and I did go around both of them since they were basically in line with one another and the pole, so that these are both now being held up. And then this one, you can see the tie down there as well. Now I'm going to pinch these dahlias before I stake them because I'll be taking off some height, so I don't want to stake them and then have to pinch off the part that I've staked. But looking at these here, this one is much taller than this one, so I know for sure I'm going to be pinching this one today. I might wait a little bit on this one, but I'll see how many sets of leaves are on it before I make that decision. So basically, the whole point of pinching a dahlia is to get more branches to grow from the same plant, giving you more flowers. You know you're about ready to pinch when either it's around 12 to 18 inches tall. If they were planted in ground, you could estimate that by about knee high. These are in grow bags, so they're already, I don't know, 10 inches off the ground. So for me, I'm just kind of eyeballing that 1 to 1.5 feet. This one definitely looks good. This one looks to be maybe about 1 foot tall. If you can't tell just based on height, you also want to see if they have at least 4 sets of leaves. Now, something interesting about these two, let me bring you in a bit closer, is that there's much more space between the leaves on the main stem than on this one, where the leaves seem to be closer together. So that's why I'm thinking I might still be able to pinch this one today, but we'll kind of make a game time decision as I get right up in there. So for this one over here, what I want to do is count back a few leaf sets and decide where I'm going to make the cut. You still want to have at least 2 to 3 leaf sets at the bottom. So let's go ahead and count on this stalk right here. Down at the bottom we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Move this leaf. 5, almost 6 leaves. I think I'm going to cut right here. And you can already see there are 2 stems getting ready to grow. So once I cut this right here, that's going to tell the plant that it needs to start sending more energy into these 2 stems, creating a more bushier dahlia plant. So I somehow managed to not hit the record button for the moment I actually pinched my dahlia. Of course, that would happen, but this is what I took off. And yes, it is big, and yes, it still makes me nervous, like somehow I've now killed the plant, even though I know what happens when you pinch one. So here is what, let's move this leaf. Here's what this one looks like now. So these 2 branches will now start to grow much larger, and I'll have more offshoots from this plant. Now this dahlia, so there are 2 different stalks growing here. There's only 1, 2, this is the 3rd set of leaves right here, so I'm not going to pinch this one yet. Let's go ahead and take a look at the other plant and see if I can pinch there and actually record it this time. So this one right here, like I mentioned, the leaves are much closer to each other, so each set is much closer on the stalk compared to the other one. So here I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I actually do have 6 leaf sets. So I'm gonna go back maybe to here and cut that off. Okay, so I am actually recording this time. So like I said, I'm just gonna come in, let's see, 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna go ahead right here and snip. There we go. Even though these are now short enough since I pinched them that I don't have to stake them yet, I am going to anyway, just because right now when the plants are smaller, it's easier to get in there and tie the string around. So this one has, again, 2 stalks right here. So I'm going to try to get the string around both and to the pole. All right, so we are done. These two are pinched and staked. These 4 are all staked, and I cannot wait for them to start blooming. So that's going to be everything for this video. Just a few quick dahlia maintenance tasks. I cannot wait to have this whole wall just filled of dahlia flowers. I'm very excited. I will keep you updated on the pinching and the difference between the ones that I pinched and the ones that I haven't pinched. I'll let you know if I have any issues with the staking, but so far these seem pretty secure. I also have a pole boop, there and one boop, there. Those I'm planning to use for my sunflowers that are in the center bed, so kind of tying twine around both of them. If you don't have twine, grab some. I use it all of the time, both for my garden and for my houseplants sometimes as well. But yeah, I think that's going to be everything for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.